a quiet resolve. In a quiet residential neighborhood of the Boston suburbs, soft sunlight streamed through tall maple trees, casting a warm golden hue across the Morrison family home. Inside, the gentle hum of morning filled the air, the ticking of a wall clock, the faint chirping of birds outside, and the rhythmic clinking of a spoon stirring coffee. Elizabeth Morrison, known to her loved ones as Liz, sat in a comfortable armchair near the window, her gaze resting on the colorful blooms swaying gently in the spring breeze. The tulips she'd planted the previous year had finally blossomed, vivid reds, yellows, and purples that reminded her how much beauty life could offer after enduring the storm. Her shoulder-length hair, once thinned by months of chemotherapy, had regained much of its fullness. She ran her fingers through it absent-mindedly, then wrapped both hands around her warm coffee cup, closing her eyes briefly to savor the quiet. Each breath, each small sound, felt sacred, a reminder that she was still here. The sudden ring of her smartphone broke the calm. The name, Mom, appeared on the screen. "Hi, Mom," Liz answered, her tone soft but cheerful. "Liz, how are you, sweetheart? Are you ready for dinner tonight?" Martha's voice carried its usual warmth, but there was a faint tension beneath it, the kind of strain that mothers have when trying to hold a family together. "Yes, I'm ready," Liz replied. 6 o'clock, right? Dad said he'll bring wine, and Ashley and Jason are coming too? I've invited Jason's parents as well, Martha said, her tone lifting a little. Thomas and Carol are very proper people, so please don't worry. I just want everything to go perfectly tonight. Liz smiled. Mom, don't stress. Jason's parents are lovely. Thomas has always shown interest in my work, and Carol's been so thoughtful about my recovery. It'll be fine. After the call ended, Liz placed her phone aside and turned toward her desk. Her computer screen glowed with an open folder titled, Gift for the Hamiltons. She clicked it, reviewing documents for a real estate property in Brookline, a charming house with a small garden and ivy climbing up its brick walls. Attached was a prepared wire transfer, $100,000, down payment for Ashley and Jason's new home. Liz smiled softly. This was her secret wedding gift, a token of love, forgiveness, and faith in her sister's happiness. But as she looked at the transfer confirmation screen, a memory surfaced, sharp and uninvited. The sterile white walls of a hospital room, the faint beeping of a monitor, the bitter tang of disinfectant in the air. She had lain there, weak, bald, and pale, her body almost foreign to her. Her mother sat by her bedside, eyes swollen from crying. Her father stood near the door, staring blankly at the floor. Ashley, her younger sister, had lingered near the entrance, clutching her designer purse, her expression restless. Get well soon, Liz, Ashley had said, glancing repeatedly at the clock on the wall. I really wish I could stay longer, but I have a date with Mike tonight. Ashley, Martha had snapped, her voice trembling. Can't you see your sister needs you? Ashley's tone turned defensive. I can't just stop living my life because Liz is sick. Everyone treats her like she's the only one who matters. Liz, too weak to argue, had only smiled faintly. It's okay, Mom, she had whispered. Let her go. The memory faded, and Liz blinked back the sting in her eyes. She's changed since then, she murmured to herself. She must have. Her thoughts shifted to another moment, one of hope. Dr. Grayson's kind smile filled her memory. Elizabeth, your test results are excellent. I can say with confidence, you're in remission. Tears had welled in her eyes that day, tears of gratitude, relief, and disbelief. But, the doctor had added gently, your body needs time. Let recovery come slowly. Spend your days meaningfully, with people who bring you peace. This is your second chance. Liz opened her eyes again, exhaling deeply. She turned to her window. The afternoon sun now bathed her living room in soft amber light. On the table beside her sat Ashley's wedding invitation, elegant gold letters on a cream envelope. She traced the date with her fingertip. April 15th. Her lips curved into a small smile. It'll be so good to see her happy, she whispered. She rose and opened her wardrobe. Her hand rested on a light blue dress, simple, graceful, and understated. This one, she said quietly. Perfect. I don't want to steal attention from the bride. Her phone rang again. It was Jason, Ashley's fiancé, soon to be her brother-in-law. Hey, Liz. His cheerful voice greeted her. Just checking in about tonight's dinner. And, about that property in Brookline. I love it. Don't tell Ashley yet. I want to surprise her. Liz chuckled softly. I'm glad you liked it. It's exactly what you two need, close to work. Good schools nearby. Don't worry. I won't spoil the surprise. Let's not bring up real estate tonight. Jason laughed. Deal. Thanks again. Liz, you've done so much for us. Take care, Jason, she said warmly before hanging up. That evening, the Morrison home glowed with soft lights. The dining table gleamed beneath a crystal chandelier, a symphony of silver cutlery, fine china, and glasses of deep red wine. The aroma of roasted beef and herbs filled the air. Martha bustled in proudly, carrying a silver tray. This is Liz's favorite recipe, she announced. When she was sick, she used to say, when I recover, I want Mom's roast beef again. Everyone chuckled softly, touched by the sentiment. Thomas Hamilton, Jason's father, smiled at Liz. Elizabeth, your recovery has been nothing short of miraculous. Jason always says your strength inspires him. Liz blushed modestly. Thank you, Thomas. I've learned that family and time are the greatest gifts life can offer. Ashley shifted in her seat, her jeweled bracelet catching the candlelight. Speaking of gifts, she said brightly, don't you all want to hear about our honeymoon? We've decided on Bali. Everyone murmured polite excitement, though the tension in her tone didn't go unnoticed. Later, as laughter softened around the table, Liz smiled gently and said, I'm really looking forward to the wedding next week. I'm grateful my health is strong enough to celebrate with you, Ash. A silence fell. Ashley froze mid-bite, then laughed awkwardly. Oh, the wedding? That's actually already happened. Liz's smile faltered. What do you mean? Ashley waved her hand dismissively. We moved it up. Last weekend. I wanted something small and intimate. The words hit Liz like a cold wave. You had the ceremony already? Thomas and Carol exchanged surprised glances. Martha's fork clattered against her plate. But I never received an update, Liz whispered. Carol, unaware of the tension, smiled brightly and reached for her phone. It was such a lovely event. Look, I have photos. Mom, don't, Ashley began, but it was too late. Carol's phone screen filled with vivid images, white tents, a floral archway, guests laughing under the spring sky. Liz saw her parents smiling. She saw Ashley glowing in her dress. She saw Jason beaming proudly. But she wasn't in a single photo. Liz stared quietly, her pulse quickening. Ashley, she said softly, why didn't you invite me? Ashley gave a small laugh, swirling her wine. It wasn't personal. You were still recovering. And honestly, I didn't want people pitying you. It was my day, and I wanted it perfect. A stunned silence blanketed the table. Liz stood up slowly. I see. Her father began to speak, but Liz simply turned away, her voice steady but fragile. Please excuse me. As she walked down the hall, she heard Thomas's stern voice behind her. Ashley, I value family above all else. This behavior is unacceptable. Outside, the cool night air stung her cheeks. She sat in her car, trembling, her hands gripping the steering wheel. For a long time, she didn't move. Then, she unlocked her phone. On the screen, pending bank transfer, $100,000, wedding gift, Ashley and Jason. Liz stared at it for a moment, her heart pounding. Then, she pressed cancel. A prompt appeared. Are you sure you want to cancel this transfer? Her finger hovered for only a second, then she tapped yes. Transaction cancelled. Her reflection in the glass faintly smiled, not with satisfaction, but with peace. This hurts, she whispered, but I'm done giving love to those who don't see its worth. She started the car and drove into the quiet Boston night, the city lights glimmering ahead, a promise of new beginnings waiting just beyond the pain. Extended story segment. The ties that break and mend. That afternoon, Liz's phone vibrated quietly on the marble counter. Jason's name appeared on the screen. For a moment, she simply stared at it, her fingers hesitating mid-air. A rush of mixed emotions, pain, curiosity, lingering affection, coursed through her. Finally, she took a steadying breath and answered. Liz, I'm truly sorry about yesterday. Jason's voice carried genuine remorse. I had no idea about the change in wedding plans, about you not being invited. Liz leaned against the kitchen counter, the afternoon sunlight filtering through the window blinds, streaking her face with lines of shadow and gold. Jason, it's not your fault, she said quietly, but there's something I can't understand, how someone could deliberately exclude her own sister from her wedding, especially a sister who just returned from the brink of death. There was silence on the other end. When Jason finally spoke, his tone was subdued, almost childlike. I don't understand either. I talked to Ashley, but she said your presence would dampen the mood, that people would sympathize with you and ruin her special day. I see. Liz's voice chilled. I can understand her point. Jason rushed to fill the silence. But I don't feel that way. My family is upset too, especially my father. He values family bonds above all. And after what you've been through. Jason. Liz interrupted softly. You're a good person, but I need time right now. I understand, he said quietly. I just wanted to tell you, the property we were looking at in Brookline, we're planning to see it tomorrow. I want to show it to Ashley. Liz exhaled, forcing a polite tone. I see. Good luck. The next morning, her phone rang again. She almost didn't answer, but the same name flashed again. Ashley. Liz. Ashley's voice was sharp and frantic. All the houses we were looking at are suddenly marked as under contract. Every single one. The agents act strange when I mention my name, like they're avoiding me. Liz sipped her tea slowly. The real estate market changes quickly, especially in spring. But Jason said even the Brookline property you recommended suddenly went under process. What's going on? Liz's tone stayed calm. I've decided not to be involved anymore. What do you mean? Ashley demanded. Ashley, you didn't invite me to your wedding. You thought the atmosphere would be better without me. Similarly, I believe you can purchase real estate without my help. A sharp gasp came through the line. No way. Are you getting revenge on me? Liz's voice was steady. It's not revenge. I'm simply reevaluating how I spend my time and energy. You've made it clear you don't need me. A week later, the Morrison family's living room became a quiet courtroom. Everyone was there. Liz, her parents, Ashley, Jason, and Jason's parents, Judge Thomas Hamilton and his wife, Carol. The air was heavy with unspoken tension. Thomas began, his tone grave but controlled. Ashley, as someone who's presided over countless family disputes, I value unity above all. Excluding your sister from the wedding was cruel and goes against every principle our family holds. Ashley opened her mouth, but Jason cut in, his voice trembling. We were rejected for our mortgage. When we investigated, we learned real estate agents all across Boston were avoiding us because of your sister. Ashley turned to Liz, eyes blazing. What have you done? Are you trying to ruin our lives? Liz calmly unlocked her phone and held up a canceled transfer. I had prepared a $100,000 down payment as your wedding gift. I also reserved a special property. But clearly, I was mistaken in assuming I was part of your future. Gasps filled the room. Martha, their mother, clutched her chest. $100,000? Liz? Ashley's face went pale. $100,000? You're lying. Liz showed the transfer confirmation screen. I meant every word when I said I wanted your happiness. After what I've endured, I thought family bonds mattered most. But you made a different choice. Jason was speechless. Ashley's hands shook. For the first time, she looked truly afraid. I didn't know, she whispered, tears welling. Why would you do something like that, for me? Because you're my sister, Liz said simply. I wanted to bless your new beginning. Carol, her voice breaking, murmured, Ashley, she nearly died. She wanted to celebrate your life while cherishing her second chance. Thomas looked at Ashley with quiet disappointment. You've disgraced not only yourself but the family you married into. Ashley's excuses tumbled out. I didn't want the attention on her. I thought if Liz came, everyone would focus on her story, not me. George, Liz's father, spoke coldly. And you thought jealousy would make your day brighter? Jason lowered his head. We're in debt because of the wedding. The mortgage fell through. Liz, did you really? Liz nodded gently. Without my down payment, your finances changed. And yes, I told agents to hold off for now. It wasn't vengeance, just clarity. Thomas stood, his judge's tone unmistakable. Ashley, I must reconsider whether you are a suitable partner for my son. Ashley froze. What are you saying? Carol added, we'll also reconsider the financial support we promised. Tears streamed down Ashley's face. But we're married. Thomas replied calmly, law is my profession, my dear. Legal bonds can be undone, especially when built on deceit. Jason's face was ashen. I love you, Ashley, but what you did to Liz, I'll never understand. Liz rose slowly, her voice firm but soft. This conversation has gone far enough. Ashley, I don't hate you. I just understand now that love without respect is meaningless. I wish you peace. She picked up her handbag and turned to leave. Ashley's voice cracked. Liz, please, if it's about the money. Liz didn't turn back. It's not about money. It's about respect. About trust. Outside, the evening air brushed against Liz's face like a blessing. She opened her banking app, redirected the $100,000 to the Cancer Patient Support Foundation, and whispered, life is short, but meaning makes it infinite. Months passed. Liz's memoir, Living a Second Life, became a bestseller, praised for its honesty and warmth. That day, sitting on a park bench under the Boston sun, she met Daniel Bradley, a journalist eager to interview her. I wanted to thank you, Daniel said sincerely. Your book changed lives, especially the chapter on family. Liz smiled faintly. That one was hard to write. As their interview continued, her phone buzzed again. Helen, she answered softly. Yes, I know. Ashley contacted the office again? Handle it as usual, please. When she hung up, Daniel asked gently, do you still talk to your sister? Liz's eyes softened. No, some bridges aren't meant to be rebuilt, but that doesn't mean there's hate. Sometimes peace means distance. Later that week, Ashley sat alone in a small apartment, unpaid bills scattered across the table. On her laptop glowed an email, final notice of divorce proceedings. Her reflection in the screen looked older, tired, broken. Thomas arrived with the final documents. This is Jason's decision, he said evenly. You'll have to move on. Ashley's voice cracked. Can I at least apologize to Liz? Thomas hesitated. She's chosen peace. Respect that. As he left, Ashley whispered, I was truly foolish. The next week, Liz received a message. I can't return the $100,000 or your trust, but please let me apologize before I sign the divorce papers, just once. Liz stared at it for a long moment before typing. Coffee would be fine. Tuesday, Newberry Street, 11 o'clock. When she pressed send, she exhaled softly. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet, but it was a step. Looking up at the pale blue Boston sky, Liz whispered, a second life means having the courage to begin again. And she walked forward, toward peace, purpose, and a horizon filled with new light.